You're in tune to 104.9 KLMJ Hampton, and this morning I'd like to welcome Mark Wayne Glasmire. Mark, how you doing?
Doing great. Very great to be here, Mike.
It's good to see you. It's been a couple of years since we've seen you down in Nashville. At that time, you had a great project going on, and what have you been doing since then?
Just been out, trying to get some gigs and out doing some more recording, more writing, and pretty excited about my new stuff that's out there. I got a new song out, Going Home, and got some other things going, so I'm pretty excited about it.
I know we've been playing the song Going Home and a lot of great reaction. We're going to talk about that here as well. And going back, actually, music's always been a part of your life, even growing up, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been from the time I was a little kid. My parents both, my mom sang on the choir and my dad sang on the choir as well. My dad played the piano a little bit. And yeah, so it's always been a very, very big part of my life. Yeah.
If I remember right, too, it all kind of started when you got a guitar for a gift. Is that right?
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Yes, I did. I got a guitar for Christmas one year, and it's been nonstop ever since.
Well, fantastic. And we're going to talk about the project through this next hour here, and a little bit later we'll play that new song, and you can talk about that because I know that's an important one. But why don't you do a song first off here?
Sure. Okay. Well, I've got to be very careful. This is a song that's it's going to be the single that will follow the one that's out now. I want to be very specific about that. But it's kind of just a lighthearted thing. It did really well in Europe this past summer, and it's a summer song. It's kind of a summery thing. And anyway, it's a real simple little thing. It's called I Like You.
I like the feeling of warm summer rain, and I like the sky bright and blue. And there are so many things that I like in this world, but most of all, I like you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Most of all, I like you. Whoa, whoa. Most of all, I like you. Hey.
Great song there. How did you come about with that one?
It was I tend to write a lot of ballads and kind of more serious things. And I thought, I really need to write something a little more lighthearted and a little more upbeat. And I've always been a diehard Jimmy Buffett fan, so I thought I'm going to write something kind of in that vein. So that's where I came up with it that way.
Well, and we're going to talk about this too, but your new EP is out, and you had a lot of great. Let's start with the pickers, the people that did play on that. Great lineup.
Yeah, great lineup. Wanda Vick plays. She's a multiple instrumentalist. She plays banjo, dobro, mandolin, guitar, fiddle. She plays everything. She also plays in the Grand Ole Opry regularly. She's a part of the house band there. Then I had a guy named George Marinelli, who is a great guitar player, and he's actually in Bonnie Raitt's band. He's Bonnie Raitt's guitar player, and before that he was with Bruce Hornsby and the Range. So he's a very talented guy. And then I had Dow Tomlin, bass player, and who I've used. He's played on all my projects, and a guy named Brian Fullen, percussionist, and another guy, Jeff Roach, keyboard player, which is excellent. Most of these guys go out on tour with other people, but I'm fortunate enough to get them in the studio. It's really a good thing. So, and they're going to actually do a gig with me. We're going to do a big CD release thing, and actually the CD's available now, but we're actually going to do like a big celebration sometime in January after everything dies down, in between the holiday kind of a thing, or I should say after the holidays. And we're going to do it in Nashville, and they'll all be there to play on it, so it should be a lot of fun.
Now, Mark, if people want a copy of this, it is out there. Is that right?
It is, yes. It's available on iTunes. It's also available through my website, which is www.cdbaby. I'm sorry. I got a bunch of different websites. It's www.markwaynglasmire.com, and Glasmire is spelled Glasmire, markwaynglasmire.com. It's also on cdbaby.com. iTunes, Amazon, pretty much anywhere on the internet. You can just Google it, you can find it. And but I got to realize some really good news the other day. iTunes really has liked the song Going Home. They've really they got a hold of it back in September, and they featured it on the country page for patriotic songs, and they really promoted it during the 9/11 anniversary. And anyway, they contacted me just on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, and said, hey, we understand the new EP is out. We'd really like to help you out. They're going to actually put it on the country homepage on iTunes, which will be a really good break for me. So,
well, fantastic. Great news there. And if you stick around, we'll have you do some more.
Great. That'd be fantastic.
Mark, we talked about your songwriting, and I know there's some things that your experiences that we won't talk about, but that we talked about before. But I'm sure you take a lot of your writing from your experiences.
I do. I almost probably 90. You're bad. You are so bad. Probably 90% of what I write is pretty much either something I've lived or somebody close to me has, something I've observed. You know, again, the other 10% is kind of make-believe stuff that I've done, that dream I've had or something like that I've kind of written about, something I'm interested in. But most of it, again, 90% of what I write, it's from the heart, you know. So.
Let's go to the song that is getting a lot of reaction these days, called "Going Home." First off, how did it all come about?
Well, it's a true story, and it's 2 weeks short of being 1 year old. I wrote it last November, and it's based on a conversation I had with a very good friend of mine who was retiring from the career in the Marine Corps. And when he graduated from college, he went right into the Corps as an officer, as a second lieutenant, and worked his way up through the ranks. And I mean, very decorated, and actually retired as a 3-star general and deputy commandant to the Marine Corps, and just a very nice guy. But he called me about a week and a half, 2 weeks before his retirement ceremony, and we had this very candid conversation about, well, how's it feel? How's it feel after, he said, this is all I've done for 36 years. This is all I've ever done. He said, so it's a little scary because, I'm still young enough that I need to do something. I can't just sit at home. And, so I'm a little nervous about that. He said, but I can tell you, I won't miss the 5:30 mornings. I won't miss the phone calls coming in at all hours of the night. And he said, I've got a chance here to reconcile with my family because, my kids have grown up without me. So it's like starting all over again. And I said, Rick, I said, so where are you, you're going back to Pennsylvania? And he said, yeah, in fact, he called me. He was stationed at Quantico in Virginia, and he was on I-95 driving up from Quantico back to Pennsylvania. And I said, you've traveled all over the world. You've been everywhere. I said, why the heck did you pick Pennsylvania to go back to live? That's where he's from. Why did you decide to go back there? He said, because I can go home. It's going home. I'm going home. That's what I'm doing. He said, there's no better place. I can't think of any other place I'd rather be. So, so that's where the idea came from, and the song, again, if you listen to the song, you can imagine what our conversation was. So it was a lot of fun.
And before we play the song, also you have the proceeds going to a charity too, don't you?
I do, a very good charity. It's called Combat Marines Outdoors, and it is an organization. It's similar to like the Wounded Warriors. It helps wounded. Not just Marines either. They help all branches of the service, but it's primarily they attend to veterans that have been injured in war, and they go into these hospitals and they get these guys, and when I say guys, I mean men and women, and they get them and they kind of bring them out. It's almost like a Make-A-Wish kind of a thing where they'll take them on some really nice trip, like a float trip or a hunting trip or some type of outdoor activity, because a lot of these guys, when they're injured, they have a hard time leaving the hospital. They don't want to leave the hospital because they've been traumatized, not only physically but also emotionally. And I can't even imagine what a lot of these guys go through. But this organization makes an effort to get them back out, get them outside, get their mind off of what they've been through, and kind of get them reacclimated into the community and into being that it's okay to come outside. And it's a nonprofit. They get no money from anybody other than private donations. And so if you'd like, you can check them out online. It's combatmarinesoutdoors.com or .org. Either one would get you there. And if you can't find it, please Google it. There may be a local chapter. You can make any kind of a donation, would be much appreciated, and it's a very, very, very good cause.
Going home, back to the place where I'm sure I first felt your love. Going home, no matter how long you're away, still fits like a glove. And I know that I've been away far too long, but I think my heart knows the way. I am not sure if it's
it's been noted as you call it your soapbox song.
My soapbox song, yeah, it's a funny story. You know, it's my song about entitlement, because people today seem like they're entitled to everything just because they're breathing. I guess, but I guess they don't have to work for it. But yeah, so it's kind of the side story to it is that when my publicist was writing up a little synopsis of the CD, she said, "Boy, you really sound angry in this song." I said, "Well, I'm really not angry. What song are you talking about?" She said, "Well, Last of a Dying Breed. You sound really angry." I said, "I'm not angry. It's just my point of view." So the listeners can be the judge.
I was raised to be a man who's strong, but not too tough to cry. Stand up proud, salute the flag when the stars and stripes go by. I try real hard to do my best, but I don't always pass the test. Sometimes I trip, sometimes I fall, sometimes my back's against the wall. But I don't count on someone else to do what I should do myself, 'cause in the end, it's up to me. Be all I can be. These are values I was taught, practice every day. Looking back, wouldn't change a thing or have it any other way. As I look around this world, it's easy to believe I'm a last, I'm a dying, I'm a last, I'm a dying, I'm a last, I'm a dying breed. Last of the dying breed.
All right, Last of the Dying Breed. Great song there.
Thank you. Last of a Dying Breed. That's it.
And some other stuff on the EP. Why don't we talk about that quick here?
Sure. I think there's some really great songs on there. Song I Like You, which I did earlier. Of course, Last of a Dying Breed's on there. Going Home is on there. Probably the best song I've ever written in my life, I think, is on there also. It's called The Moment. And again, I think it's one of the best things I've ever written. And there's a couple other songs on there. It's a 6-pack, but has a bonus track. So there's actually 7 tracks on it. And I think there's a little bit of everything. So I think you'll like it.
Well, fantastic. And again, if people want to know more about you, why don't you tell the website they can go to?
You can go to www.markwayneglasmire.com. Glasmire is spelled Glasmire, markwayneglasmire.com. You can find me on CD Baby, Amazon.com. Pretty much anywhere on the internet you can find me, and iTunes, and please come to my site, and please leave me a note too if you come. Sign my guest book. I'd love to hear from you.
Fantastic. And Mark, again, congratulations on the song, doing really well for you, and I know you've got a lot of feedback from that too.
Yeah, thanks. It's been I'm very pleased with the way it's going. Yeah.
Well, it's great to have you stop by here and come back again.
I would love to, and I'm going to hold you to this listener appreciation thing sometime. I'm going to be back to play. All right.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mike.